Over the last few days, I've been rewatching Spider-Man the Animated Series, Season 1. Can you believe it? 13 episodes it is. Some of which I'd seen before, some of which I hadn't. We'll explain all that in a second. But this show, if you can believe it, and it's not just my well, maybe it is just my nostalgic yearnings, but I thought this show was pretty good. Now, we have a new website, everybody. Now, this means I have to put the link in the description. Oh my goodness, I'm going to cry right now. There's a new TV Time is Dead. That's the old sort of tracking TV thingy we used to have that's kind of like Letterboxd, kind of like Backlogged. Now we have serialized. Spelt weirdly, just like Backlogged and Letterboxd. And it's the new thing. And in this website, it's like a ranking website like Letterboxd. Thanks for catching up. It has... You can rank things individual, like you can rank the whole show, or you can rank individual seasons. And I think you might even be able to rank individual episodes. So it's a cool little thingy. And anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I gave it 4 stars on Serialized, everybody's new favorite website. Can't wait for you to all follow me on there. It's just Kylie and T. Do I really have to link it? I'll link it. True. And if you want to keep up with the series, if I do keep doing this, which I am planning on doing, you can see my Season 2 ranking and spoil it before I say it in the video if you follow me over there. Who cares? What about Spidey-Man? Now, again, as I just said, it's 13 episodes. This show started in 1994, if you can believe it. I watched this show a lot as a kid. It has 5 seasons overall, I'm told. They roughly all have about 12 to 13 to 14 episodes, I think. There's like 65 in total, if you can believe it. I was born in 2001, so I did not watch this on TV growing up. That's not my history with it. Instead, I have like these DVDs, which this is interesting. There's like 5 DVDs of this series that have like 21 of the 65 episodes in total. And they're all specifically themed. So it's not like Season 1 episodes. It's like all the Green Goblin episodes, all the Venom episodes. Then there's another one that's just like general episodes, and then there's one that has Doc Ock on the cover, but he's only in one of the episodes, I'm pretty sure, and the rest of them are kind of like the Black Cat episodes. Oh my goodness, you don't want to know about these Black Cat episodes. Now, we're not up to them yet, they weren't in this season, but shit's crazy, let me tell you. This show looks incredible. It's got some of the greatest character designs you'll ever see. The image I had to choose here is the only kind of good quality image that exists, because this show exists in very poor quality. It's from the 90s, and it doesn't have like an... well, it does have an upscale, and that's how I was watching it. I was, in fact, watching this Season 1, not on my old DVDs, of which only... 4 of these 13 episodes appear, and I had seen before actually sitting down for these. So what's that? 4 minus 13 equals 9. 9 of these episodes were new to me. Can you believe it? What was I saying before that? Oh, it's I was watching an upscale on archive.com or whatever that website is, .org or whatever, and it has the whole series. So if you wanted to watch these episodes after you hear this great review, you could easily for free on that. And I think because it has archive in the title of the website, it might be legal. You never know these things, though. It says it's a 1080p upscale. It still doesn't look very good. And I was watching it in a little thingy, a little window. The point is, I'm saying the character designs in this show are some of the best you'll ever see, but they're not really representative in this image here, which isn't really representative of the show. I'm assuming this is some sort of DVD box set that exists outside of the region where I was. I did some limited research on this. I think this is like the British release or something. Anyway. So Venom doesn't really look like that in the show. He kind of does. But the cool part about the Venom in this show, Venom was in these first few episodes, you got to look up. To prove that this show is epic and it has some of the greatest character designs you'll ever see, you've got to look up Venom, you got to look up Black Cat, who hasn't been in the show yet, and you got to look up like Green Goblin, and they just look so cool. Venom has like blue and red, like Spider-Man, outlines on like his body. It's fucking epic, bro. The Kingpin, you've never seen a cooler guy. Daredevil in the show, even though he hasn't been in the show yet, you've never seen a cooler guy. Also, I guess generally while we're talking about character designs at the beginning, everyone, and I think this is just the thing with like superhero like shows in the 90s, because I'm pretty sure this is even true in the Batman. I haven't seen any actual episodes of the Batman show. I've seen stills and footage and YouTube videos and stuff like that. Everyone is the most giant person to ever exist. They got the widest shoulders. Peter Parker and all of his friends, they're ginormous in the show, and even the ladies are ginormous. It's fucking epic. Look up Mary Jane, or even if you want to see Black Cat before she's Black Cat, you can look up Felicia Hardy. My goodness, the prettiest girls you've ever seen. But that's besides the point too. I will point out also, this is a Spider-Man series set in college, so they're not even teenagers or whatever in this. Well, they could be like 19 or something. But that's fine. That's fine. That Black Cat ain't look 19, I'll tell you what. My goodness. I'm sweating right now. Whew. We jumped into character designs out of nowhere. So yes, the only episodes I'd seen were the Venom ones, which there's the 3-part Venom series here, and the Doc Ock one. The rest of them were completely new to me. There'll be more as we continue that I've seen, I guess. Well, that's 4 out of, and it says there's 21 episodes in total in those DVDs I had. So that would mean 21, about 17 episodes left that I've seen. My goodness, more. I've seen less of this show than I've seen less of this show than I have. What am I trying to say here? I've seen less of this show than I haven't. Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I said. Got it right the first time, kiddo. Now, true, that's my history with the series. I've always held it in great regard. These are some of my earliest nostalgic memories. I remember watching these at like 5 years old on DVD, especially like the Venom ones. Oh, it was the coolest thing. And it's another forgotten nostalgia thing where a bunch of lines come back to you as they're saying them. You're like, oh my God, I remember that. And like the plot of how the episode will unfold, you're like, oh my God, I remember that. And like the fact that Peter Parker has like a abstract dream about this weird Venom art style and this weird Spider-Man art style, like trying to rip him apart. I swear this is why I like abstract imagery at all, because I saw that when I was a little kid and said, that shit's sick. All that stuff's really cool. Now, this show is known for some things. It's one of the more popular Spider-Man shows. I think people generally look back on it fondly, but I think the people that actually engage with it don't generally like it too much. I remember a few years ago, now this is it's got to be pre-COVID, so that's more than a few years ago at this point. I either tried to watch the first episode or I was watching clips on YouTube or something, and it like ruined the show for me how schizophrenic the show is, which is, it's continued to be true. You just get used to it, and now it doesn't bother me at all having watched these 13 episodes. The show is so ridiculously like fast paced. Like if you wanted to be a cool guy, you could make a YouTube video comparing it to like TikTok or something and get 1 million views. The TikTokification of Spider-Man, 1990s edition. Because let me tell you something, these scenes will go quick. They'll go, and you'll have 17 plot points in about 3 minutes, plus 2 flashbacks. Shit's crazy. Things cut away so quickly, you don't even get to register them. Like, they'll intercut between 2 scenes. Well, not really. Like, they'll match cut or fade cut, and it's like, whoa, what's going on here? And, like, you'll literally get a scene that's like literally 7 seconds long, and it'll be a character stating a fact of the story, and then you move on to another scene that's also like 5 seconds long, and then another scene that's like 10 seconds long before you get like a sequence of shots that is like 20 seconds long in an actual scene. It's very funny. I feel like there's one, this has to be in the Venom episodes, because the example I'm thinking of is J. Jonah Jameson's poor son in the hospital, where it's like it cuts to him. It cuts to, like, this is part of, like, the climax of one of the episodes, I'm pretty sure. It cuts to Jameson looking over his son, and I swear the scene is, like, 5 seconds long, where he goes, so it wasn't Spider-Man, eh? And he, like, pulls the covers up. And that's, like, the whole episode is built on the fact that he thinks that Spider-Man did this to his son. And then he realizes it, and it just cuts away. And it's just, I ended up liking it. I like how it is paced. I like how weird it is in that fact. But the pacing, the editing is just, like, so schizophrenically, like, we need to cram information in, we need to keep moving. Unless it's like a fight scene, we're not going to get a long scene. That's not always true. But it's definitely a thing you would notice about the show immediately upon picking it up. And I'm pretty sure it's probably worse later on, because the show is kind of interconnected quite a bit. You would describe a lot of these episodes as episodic, but like the background details or the interstitial scenes, it becomes very villain of the week for a lot of these earlier episodes. But like the romance subplot is continuous, and like the Peter living situation is continuous, and like the Kingpin and what he's doing in the background is like continuous, and characters will come back. Like Norman Osborn is in a bunch of these episodes, and he's not the Green Goblin in any of them yet. That's not till season 3 or something crazy. That's another thing people say about the show. You know, they did the Hobgoblin before they did the Green Goblin, and that's very bad or something. As comic fans, we're all outraged by this. But true, incredibly fast-paced. It is also very corny at times. It's an old-school thingy. Another famous thing people say about this show is that if you watch the whole show, Spider-Man never throws a punch. Now, apparently that isn't specifically true, but a vast majority of the time, he can kick people if he swings or something like that, but he's not punching people. There's not a lot of punching going on, because that was like part of the censorship, and it's the old school. This always reminds me, the first example of a show like this is always the Ninja Turtles 2003 for me, where nobody dies in that show. They perish, or they get destroyed, or something like that. This show has that too. There's no dying, there's getting destroyed. I don't think they ever say perishing. I think it's usually just destroy, like destroy him, stop him, grab him, or whatever it is. So it's very fun. It's a kids show. What can we say? And overall, I'd just say the show looks pretty great. There's lots of CGI in this show, which is very interesting for a 1994 show. A lot of the buildings and the scale of New York City, it's great. It's always nighttime, and it looks so cool. No, sometimes it's daytime, and it looks so cool. There's such a nostalgic look to like the colors and the way New York City is portrayed, and all these sorts of things, and these giant fucking hulking humans that are walking around. That's just epic. It's not slender like these shitty animes you watch. But true, generally I would say those are general points. The other things I have are like interesting like observations of how weird and interesting the show is sometimes. One of the big things is immediately there are a lot of characters and a lot of setup from like episode 1 and 2. Like episode 1, I'm pretty sure, well, episode 1 is the lizard episode. We start on the lizard, and it is literally this plot from the Amazing Spider-Man 1, which is very funny, which is interesting because a lot of the movies take from a lot of the plot lines in this show, and I think even more so that the comics they're based on. Some ways they don't. Like the Doc Ock in this show is nothing like the Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. But like how Spider-Man 3 is done with Venom, like is incredibly like how Venom is done here. Except Venom's a little skinny dweeb boy in that movie, so we don't like it. This was building up to saying something, but I forget what I was going on. Oh, well, the lizard is episode 1, and he's like wants to turn everybody into lizards, of course. And he's like got it hooked up to where it's going to spread throughout the city. I'm like, this kind of works for a cartoon plot. I'm pretty sure this was pretty retarded when we were getting into the Amazing Spider-Man 1. But we love that movie because Gwen Stacy is in it, and Emma Stone is a very good actress, and Andrew Garfield is our favorite. But maybe one day soon we will rewatch all the Spider-Man movies and give opinions on those. We're in big on Spider-Man right now. He's the coolest guy. What can I say? Oh my god, in the theme song. You gotta look up the theme song for this show too. Spider-Man. It sounds like that. It's fucking epic. And actually, I think he's saying spider blood or something in it. Whoa, that's graphic, even though we don't say such blood words in this show. What the fuck was I saying? Where was I up to? We're introducing a lot of characters immediately. Like the first shot at the Daily Bugle, we've got like J. Jonah Jameson walks in. I forget the black guy's name. I know he's central to some plots later on because I've seen the Tombstone episode, and that episode's fucking sick. And it's got to do with like his son and stuff like that. Robbie or something, that's his name. And Jameson are all in there being introduced in like the same 20 seconds, and then Eddie Brock walks in to set up Venom later because he also works with Peter Parker. Because we're getting to Venom later. And like Flash Thompson is introduced really quickly, and then Felicia Hardy is in there immediately in episode 2. Oh my god, she's the greatest of all time. And then Norman Osborn is also just a like kind of a background science bad guy in episode 2, and he continues to do it. And Smythe, who is a big character in this, or he's gonna transform and he's gonna shoot like guns out of his his shoulders or something. That guy was epic, and he goes psycho or something. And the Kingpin too, and Harry Osborn is in the background sometimes. And also the nerdy girl from Peter's class. Her name's like Whitman or something, just like that guy from Mad Men. So there's so many girls in it too, which we love girls here. But true. And then Mary Jane is like, she starts getting hinted at the beginning, is like this person that Aunt May is trying to get Peter to go on a blind date with. Felicia Hardy's actually the first girl. And my goodness, they tongue kiss in the second episode or something. It was graphic, I'm telling you, after they do a bit of a dance. It's pretty epic. But true, there's a lot of stuff. And this is true. Loverboy Peter and his many ladies. There is a scientist girl, but he like says, she's just like my little sister. So that's not really a thing. But he is interchangeably, episode to episode, going on dates with Mary Jane and Felicia Hardy. And he hasn't chosen one yet. I know, sadly, eventually, I'm pretty sure he's going to choose Mary Jane. Now that's fucking lame. Even though she's awesome in this. And this is where like I don't know if this is where the tiger thing comes from, but this is where you think about it. But true. But Felicia Hardy's going to be Black Cat one day, and I remember him kissing bro, so I can't wait for that shit. But that's like season 4 or something, as I understand it. Oh, but true. The Playboy Peter is in this, and we love it. No Gwen Stacy, though, and I don't remember her ever being in this show, so that's upsetting. We love Gwen Stacy, the Amazing Spider-Man. Put her back in the people's vocabularies. So now we're always waiting for her to show up. There was a blonde girl in that new Spider-Man movie in an elevator one time. I said, that's Gwen Stacy. But it turns out it wasn't. He's still on Mary Jane in that one, too. Remember when he had a different girlfriend in, like, the first movie? I wonder which character she was. She was the Vulture's daughter, if you spoiler alert. And that was the craziest twist of all time. Anyway, I don't like Tom Holland. Why am I glazing those movies? True and true, Loverboy Peter. But true, a lot of characters very immediately. It's just like they're all somehow in the show, and I think that's very clever and cute and fun. Similarly, he's always referencing other Marvel shit in this show, because I know the 90s animated shows do cross over sometimes, and they are all technically in the same universe or something. But in like the first episode, he's like, "You'll never find the Fantastic Four in a sewer like this," because the lizard's in the sewer, you understand? And he's making jokes, or the Avengers, or the Defenders, and it's like, whoa, those were like the same thing one day, once upon a time, before the Avengers was the most lucrative, big budget movie franchise of all time. It's funny. We're back in the 90s. It's crazy. And I think he talks about the Hulk. He makes a joke about how maybe the Hulk would be in the sewer or something. He's a fucking idiot. And other different things. I don't think he's made any X-Men references yet. Maybe something about mutants or something. I don't remember exactly. But I know that I think in season 2, they have a big crossover episode with where all the X-Men show up. So that'll be my first experience with the 90s X-Men. I can't wait for that. There's other funny things. We can go through the villains really quick. I think Venom is definitely the standout, but if we go in them in order, episode 1 is the Lizard. Then episode 2 and 3, which are probably the worst episodes in this group, though the Kraven the Hunter one is pretty bad too. Are Spider Slayers, which are like robots, and robots are lame. We don't care about robots. They don't have personalities and stuff. So they were there, and then Doc Ock was episode 4, which was interesting because he has like a German accent and he's a little weird. So I don't know, Doc Ock wasn't the best in this, I don't think, but I don't know, he was okay. Then after that was Mysterio, and he was also a little weird. Didn't really like Mysterio that much. The Scorpion was pretty good though. We like the Scorpion, and I've seen him in later episodes. I'd never seen this introductory episode, but I remember he was paired with like Vulture in some weird, and I think Smythe in some weird, like very late. I think Black Cat was maybe involved in that plot line too. I remember thinking that was cool. So we like Scorpion later, and we kind of liked him here. Kraven the Hunter was very, very weird. We'll talk about that in a second. Then we had Rhino and Shocker, which were in the black suit Venom stuff. Though Venom is only in the 3rd Venom episode, because the first 2, of course, Peter's got the black suit on. But Shocker and Rhino are both in there. They were pretty good. I like Shocker and Rhino, and they have I've seen those episodes a million times, so Shocker and Rhino are very familiar to me. It was even weird when in Amazing Spider-Man 2, they had Electro in it. I said, who the fuck is Electro? We like Shocker, and it was literally just because I'd seen these episodes a million times. I'm pretty sure Electro's a much more popular Spider-Man villain, but I love the great Shocker. Also, he looks epic, and the Rhino looks epic. Look up all these character designs. Then after Venom, we get into the Hobgoblin stuff. I kind of remembered him being cooler than he was here. I really like the outfit and the design and stuff, and Mark Hamill does his voice, did you know? But I actually didn't think that was too good. Like, it was clear he's, like, good at acting, but I don't know. It didn't come on. Those episodes were also a little weird. They were, like, back and forthy, and everybody, all the bad guys, there was, like, the Kingpin, Norman Osborn, still not as a goblin, and the Hobgoblin, and they were all, like, betraying each other. Like, constantly. I think they all betrayed each other with the other one at some point, and that's kind of supposed to be thematic or something. And then the Chameleon is in the last episode, which is interesting. Last episode also introduces S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury, a white Nick Fury, which is funny. Which, again, Nick Fury is in one of those later episodes. I think Black Cat is in that too. I actually don't remember. So I had seen this Nick Fury before, so that was like, oh, he's introduced here. But also I had seen that Nick Fury before Samuel L. Jackson redefined what Nick Fury was, so that's kind of funny. But true, those were all the villains, besides Kingpin, in the first season. And they each kind of get one episode. The Hobgoblin gets 2 episodes, Venom gets 3. Well, Venom's only in the 3rd one, but there's a 3-episode Black Suit saga. It is true, the Kraven one is really bad. Like, Kraven the Hunter was like an Africa safari guy, and then there was a scientist differently that like injected something and he was living with the lions, but that's like a 3-second footnote in the episode, and there was like a thingy and he gave it to Kraven the Hunter's wife, who was once his partner, and then he got injured, so he had to use the same like serum on him, and that makes him like a wild guy, and he's gone wild and stuff. And then he's at the zoo and he's got the black guy from the Daily Bugle tied up, and there's like animals and stuff, and it's like this feels like a 70s cartoon or something, or an 80s cartoon. That episode was pretty bad. And that one was kind of bad. The robot ones were just kind of boring, but also it had like the Felicia Hardy fucking kiss in it, bro. So who are we saying? But also the other major characters is J. Jonah Jameson is in this a hell of a lot. He's at every episode. He's kind of the secondary main villain besides Kingpin, I would say. And he's great. We love this J. Jonah Jameson. Though his mustache in the show, also look up his character design, it's epic. His mustache, a little Hitler-esque. It's getting close in these fucking movies. Not in these movies, in these episodes sometimes. I've been keeping a note of that. Which is very funny. But his relationship, there is a lot of interesting relationships. Peter as a character is very interesting too, where he is kind of arrogant at times. He is telling jokes. I think there was also a funny consent thing or something at some point where he's like, after Mary Jane spent all night rejecting me, and he's like trying to put his arm around her and stuff. It's like, this is not good, Peter. What are you doing? What are you doing? There's other things where, and obviously the Venom symbiote like makes him like even crazier. Oh, and he has that great monologue everybody makes fun of about how he's going to chase Shocker to the ends of the earth. You got to look that up. Look up Peter Venom monologue Shocker or something, and it's some crazy voice acting. But I like it. It's great. That's been in my brain since I was literally 5 years old, and it's never left. What was I saying before that? Something about something. Oh, Peter is very interesting in this show. He's like kind of cunty at times. It's interesting. He's like not as straightforwardly a good guy always. He's kind of default a prick, and has to kind of be reminded to be a good guy, kind of like Ash in Pokemon episodes at the beginning. But his heart's in the right place, and he's always going to save the innocent people at the end of the day. But true, all those aspects are kind of interesting. There are other interesting aspects. True, they're in college, which is interesting. They're going to classes and stuff. Like Dr. Connors is one of his university professors. This is a very small, interesting detail. But Spider-Man is really afraid of like falling off buildings in this. And it made me think, like, was that first Spider-Man Raimi movie, like the first time where Spider-Man would like dive off buildings and like, that's like the coolest part, and then right before he gets to the end, he like swings off, or he can even land, like jump off the tallest building and then land and be fine. Because I remember you do that in like the video games, right? And you always do it because it's really cool how like the falling momentum goes. But I wonder if that imagery specifically, because I feel like every Spider-Man in every movie has always done that. But that could be because of the first Raimi movie. Because in this, he's like, if he's like gets knocked off a roof or something, he's like, oh no! And it's like a cliffhanger, cut to commercial, and he's got to like try and catch himself on the side of a building or something. That was an interesting detail of like, why isn't Spider-Man just landing? He can't be hurt from fall damage. That's ridiculous. He lands. It's always like really light. Like, did you hear? I just did the sound effect on my little laptop here. But true. Oh, also, in part of the editing and the weird fast-pacedness is this show does have wacky PowerPoint transitions, like it's the Star Wars prequels or something all the time too, which is kind of fun and interesting. Those are all my notes, really. I didn't really want this to be too long. Let's generally go through the episodes, and we'll rank them. The first one, the lizard one, that was pretty good. It was a good introduction. There's no origin story. It just throws you right in. There's a lizard, and then Spider-Man's, like, it opens with Spider-Man swinging through the city and saying, if only the city down there was as peaceful as it looks from up here or something. And he's doing some things, and he's all crazy, and he's already got, like, the police blaming him for things and stuff like that. He's already got a relationship in the city. Both Spider Slayer episodes merged together. The first one had one robot that they called the Black Widow, which was very funny. Also, in S.H.I.E.L.D. later, there's a redheaded lady who's like the second in command after Fury, and they never gave her a name or anything. So I was like, is that supposed to be Black Widow? I don't know. They're going to say her name is Natasha, and we're all going to freak out. But true, those ones are okay. The Doc Ock episode is also weird. It was interesting because the Peter going to like Felicia Hardy's like massive mansion and going in the front door and stuff like that, and knocking over the vase. That was another thing that was like seared in my brain that I've seen a million times. And also he like takes the train out there or something. That's also I remembered being part of like the Black Cat episodes. So I thought that was way later. But then when that happened in like episode 4, I was kind of freaking out. Mysterio was kind of lame. I don't know. He had some cool imagery. He made like the yellow brick road and stuff, and then Spider-Man tried to run down it, but he hit a wall or something because he was in the mall. Because Mysterio was pretending to be Spider-Man and robbing places. That was okay. The Scorpion episode was good. I like that. J. Jonah Jameson helped create the Scorpion, and he was just some dweeby guy he had hired to follow Peter Parker to see if he could figure out who Spider-Man was. He was like this dweeb that was sick of being made fun of, and they made him into the Scorpion, and he's kind of cool. And also, it's interesting. A bunch of guys just beat the shit out of Spider-Man. Like the Rhino the first time beats the shit out of Spider-Man. Scorpion throughout the whole episode beats the shit out of Spider-Man. Venom, Spider-Man ain't got no hope in hell of beating Venom until he gets him near the space shuttle that takes off and separates him. I think even the Hobgoblin beats the shit out of Spider-Man a bunch. So, Spider-Man, he could do with some shonen action fighting training. The next one is the Kraven one. That one was not very good. Rhino, Shocker, all of the Venom episodes are great. The first one is the Rhino one and the space shuttle landing and stuff like that. They've all got cliffhangers. Then he shows back up and gets a rematch at his black suit and beats the shit out of Rhino, makes him cry. Then Shocker's trying to get Eddie Brock or something before he's Venom. We beat up Shocker and it's the bell tower and all that cool stuff. And then the third one is Venom, who's beating him up. And Venom's tormenting Spider-Man, showing up and going because Venom has the memories of when he was with... So he knows that he's the only one that knows Peter's identity. So he's going to hang out with Mary Jane, and he's saying hello to Aunt May and stuff and torturing him. And he's like seeing him. He's like looking at the pictures in the newspaper, and it becomes Venom. And he's looking at like a board, and he's looking at the moon, and it becomes Venom. And he's looking at this thingy, and it becomes Venom because Venom's haunting him and stuff. So that shit was epic. Then the Hobgoblin stuff, we had a bunch of betrayals and stuff. It was kind of cool. Also, we still don't know the Kingpin is the bad guy. He's just like this entrepreneur, and he's like, Spider-Man doesn't know yet. And the Chameleon at the end, it was like a spy chase thingy. He was trying to like kill some diplomats or something that had come to sign a treaty after 100 years or something. They had a whole UN premise in there. And Nick Fury thanked Spider-Man. He was the first guy to do it, and then we cut away. My goodness. But true. The episodes were fun to rewatch. What can I say? Another thing I'll say, these episodes are all like 19 minutes long or something. These are short episodes, and we're thankful for it. They were always easy to watch. Again, I watched like 6 today and like 5 yesterday and maybe like 3 the day before. So I was having a lot of fun rewatching them, even if it doesn't feel like I'm giving them the greatest sell job here. They were sick. You just got to be in the vibe, bro. You just got to absorb it. The ladies, the nighttime New York, the colors, the Spider-Mans, the Venoms, the Doc Ocks, the Hobgoblins, the Scorpions, the Lizards. I'm leaving out the ones I didn't like. Oh, and we like Rhino and Shocker. We just didn't like some of them, okay. And true, there's also the lady, which I thought there's like a black lady cop I think she's only in the Mysterio episode. I know she becomes a recurring character because I remembered her a lot. She's got like this kind of pink suit on or whatever, who I swore was what we were basing the girl from the police officer, the black lady police officer from the most recent movie on, but apparently she was just in this show, and she's like I can't remember her name, but she was made up for this show, if you can believe it. So that's like the whole cast of characters. There are some we haven't met yet. There's like a Two-Face character at some point who I thought was Smythe, but I think I'm just getting them confused because that guy also works for Kingpin later. Also, I know Mary Jane's aunt that we keep referencing eventually gets introduced, and she's a big bitch, and we hate her. Other than that, I don't know if there's too many other reoccurring characters, like side characters. No, because Harry Osborn's in it for a little bit. Oh, it was interesting. Harry and Peter have like a scene on scene. They're like, we don't know each other at all. Here we are walking, and Harry's trying to get him to move in with him because he's like smart, and then his dad will like him or something. So I wonder if I honestly don't remember Harry in this show too much. So I wonder if he becomes friends with Peter or what's going to happen there. That's interesting. I don't even know if he becomes the Green Goblin after his dad. So these are things I'm going to have to keep track on. I know this show goes in weird directions. I think we end up doing clone Spider-Man stuff by the end, and I'm pretty sure the last arc of the show is Secret Wars, which is funny because Venom is already here. And Madam Web is the other one. Madam Web from this show was epic. She would smooth transition Spider-Man out of reality into her pocket dimension. She's like an 80-year-old woman, but she's cool and she's telling him what to do and telling him mysterious things and telling him that he's got to be ready for an upcoming test, which I think ends up being Secret Wars or something. So none of that setup has happened yet. Because that would happen, because again, these DVDs were all out of order. Like, because it was Venom episodes, it would have like these season 1 episodes, and then Venom doesn't come back till like season 3, which has like Dormammu and Carnage and Doctor Strange and Iron Man and War Machine in it. Oh my god, we're going to get epic with this fucking show. So they would always be out of order. It'd be hard to keep track of what. And like Madam Web would be in some episodes and not in others. So I wonder if she's like she's just in like season 3 or something, or has it felt like she was always in the show in all the episodes I was always watching? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to get context, proper context for all this stuff that is left mysterious and I'm joking in my brain for like 20 years at this point, nearly. Oh my god, it is 20 years. I'm 25, and I keep saying when I was 5 years old I was watching this show. That's unbelievable, chat, that I can say things that are 20 years ago, and maybe they be true. Anyway, I think that's all I got to say. We just hit the 30-minute mark. You know, I can yap over here. But Spider-Man, the animated series, season 1, you got to love it. It was terrific. Well, I don't know if it was that terrific. It was a fun time to watch. It was a good time. It's a solid 4 out of 5. A nostalgic trip. Worthwhile if you haven't seen it. That's what I'm saying. That's my review. Okay, I don't know how quickly I'll get this second season out. Honestly, watching a lot of them today when I had the idea of I could do it today and then make the video today was a lot of motivation, and I'll have to start again. I'll have 13 episodes to go through, or maybe more. I can't remember the exact number of season 2 episodes. You know, so I could, it might not be out as quickly as you might expect. But who knows? Maybe we'll drop it and never do it again. Huh. That's so me, wouldn't it be? You know? But anyway, time will tell. That sounds like something somebody would ominously say at the end of one of these episodes, and it'd have the sound cue. You got to know the sound cue from this show too. We love the soundtrack and the sound cues and the intro theme and all those things. Anyway, I'm trying to end this fucking video. Support links in the description below. Thanks.